Our next award is an induction into the Off Broadway Hall of Fame. We're posthumously honoring James Houghton, the creator, the innovator, the force behind the Signature Theater. In 1991, James came up with a concept for a theater season that had never been tried in New York. Instead of one show at a time, why not take works from one American playwright and produce them together in a single season? What would happen if we did that? Well, now we know the remarkable answer to that question. Inspired by a passion for the work of Romulus Linney, he presented a season of 3 works down on Bond Street, and the Signature Theater's unique mission was born. The Signature has now devoted 25 successive seasons to the work of a single living dramatist. Quote, "The misfits as well as the hits," according to Mr. Houghton. With the opening of the beautiful Pershing Square Signature Center in 2012, Jim was able to launch 2 additional playwright residency programs, one that nurtures the next generation of voices, such as Brandon Jacob Jenkins, Annie Baker, and the Legacy program, in which Signature's playwrights and residents revisit their work. The 3 Signature complexes allows as many as 9 dramatists to be in residence during a single season and makes for an exciting and fruitful creative dialogue. Equally determined to be as inclusive in audience building as he was in the selection of playwrights, Jim created the Signature Ticket Initiative, the groundbreaking ticket subsidy program that keeps prices affordable so that theater is accessible to people who wouldn't otherwise get to be part of it, to get to be inspired by it the way Israel was as a boy when he won the coin toss. And as if that weren't enough, Jim's legacy extends to the playwrights he mentored as the artistic director of the National Playwrights Conference at the Eugene O'Neill Center from 2000 to 2003, as well as those he guided since 2006 as the Richard Rogers Director of the Drama Division at the Juilliard School. Jim's singular vision, his easy grace, and fierce determination made him a hero to all of us in the theater, and that's why we're happy and proud to be honoring his memory today. So here to accept the Off Broadway Hall of Fame Award for Jim Houghton, please help me welcome Jim's wife, Joyce O'Connor.
Hi, have I found my light? Hi, Estelle. I could never cry on cue as an actress, but it comes when you don't want it. Jim and I first came to Sardi's 30 years ago. We stood right over there. As actors, we were graduating from a theater program. That's where we met. We were hoping to join this community for which today he is honored. To be in this room where it all began is touching. Jim's life mission was to include and be included. He didn't build a theater, he built a community center with a lobby at its heart. He envisioned in this lobby orchestrated collisions. Anybody around him at that time heard that a million times? Orchestrated collisions where artists of all ages and types would intersect with audience. The lobby was more important to him than stages or houses, and he requested his memorial be held in this lobby because to him it was sacred. The Off-Broadway community has sustained our family. I was an actress, and now I'm a writer, tutored by the words I once inhabited in plays. Our daughter, Lily Houghton, spent, I guess it was 3 years, 3 summers as a girl at the O'Neill, running behind Jim. Now she's an emerging playwright. Our son, Henry Houghton, has autism. I employed my actor skills and training to reach him, human to human. Now he's an actor performing every show with the Afterwork Theater Company, Off Broadway, and David Hackhouse is a board member. Thank you. Thank you. You have to check out the Afterwork Theater Company if you haven't. It's amazing. I would not have made it through the past few years without my dear friend, the blonde, my the blonde photographer, Judy Maurer, a former stage manager, still adept at handling fragile actors. My nephew, David Liner, in the glasses, is rehearsing an off-Broadway show right now with his jazz band, Sammy Miller and the Congregation. Check it out, Sammy Miller and thecongregation.com. And I remember Joe Morton from our early days at the Public, and Estelle, my dear Estelle, and Paula, and dearest Athol from Signature. And Harvey, I don't know you yet, but I really want to hang out with you. Who doesn't, right? And went out the door to Signature yet again. Every day I would call to Jim, "Save the American theater." And I was, it was a joke, but we had no money. His office was a telephone answering machine in a closet in our tenement apartment. But it wasn't really a joke. That's what's happening off Broadway, the American theater. That's why young 20-something, goateed, long-haired, darling Jim left his family in San Francisco, and I left mine in Indiana. We wanted to change the world, one show at a time. That's what we dreamt when we first came here and stood here and quivered at Sardi's. And someone remarked to me that Jim's death was tragic. And I disagree. The timing of Jim's death was tragic. His life was the opposite. It was blessed. He made a home. He made two, both off Broadway. One at a theater and one in our apartment. And these two homes collided, producing an off-Broadway theater family. Jim's life mattered in the deepest way. He made a community, and he joined a community where he was beloved. Jim always wanted a speedboat and an old truck, and he never got those. But that's not a bad list of regrets for a life. He was part of something bigger than himself. He knew it. How many people get to say that? How many people get to have their dreams come true? On his deathbed, Jim still clung to his iPhone. He reached out to Off Broadway. "Be sure to call Sam Shepard," he reminded me, his voice failing. Don't let him hear about me in the paper." Jim procured 6 impossible-to-get house seats on his last lucid night for his visiting family to see Hamilton. He didn't do that alone, Oscar. Steve, everybody knows him from West Bank, sent up my favorite chicken. The off-Broadway community never failed us. And back at Sardi's today without Jim, this time, I'm grateful nonetheless. I cherished him. You welcomed us. I'm so happy we collided.